Good morning, guys. Today's project is a little bit over my head in the engineering department and the chemistry department. So I'm gonna break this video up into a couple parts so that you guys can help me along the way with some of those areas if you're more experienced in that. The idea is this: a shot chiller and dispenser for whiskey and scotch made from a dehumidifier. I've seen a couple people make aquarium chillers from dehumidifiers, so I don't think this is too much of a stretch, but I do have some questions and some doubts about how it's actually going to work. My first step today is to get the dehumidifier taken apart, get the evaporator submerged in water, and hook up the thermometer to see if it will even chill the water to begin with. Here's a picture from the 40s or 50s of a chilled whiskey dispenser that was the inspiration for this project. Here's what a dehumidifier looks like before you take it apart. My plan is to break it down into its four major components, which are the evaporator, the condenser, the fan, and the compressor. I'm going to take all those parts out of the housing. Then I'll flip the evaporator upside down and submerge it in some kind of fluid that has a lower freezing point than 0 degrees. Run a couple copper tubes through it, add your whiskey, and then enjoy ice cold shots on demand. That's the plan anyway. Here is my dehumidifier, and I have taken off the lid so that I can get to the internals. This part is the part I need to submerge in water, and then once it's heated back up, it goes through here, back through the compressor, and the loop continues in and out and in and out. All right, I got everything out of its housing. Now I just need to cut these and separate these two things, because this one gets cold, this one gets hot. All right, so it's taking 32 minutes to drop the temperature to 50 degrees, just about 10 degrees Celsius. So that is a 30-degree drop in 32 minutes. So that's pretty good. All right, my next step is to get this thermometer controller to actually turn on and off the compressor. So since I'm using water, I can't go below freezing. I'll have to address that later. But for now, I want it to get to 50 degrees, which is 10 degrees Celsius, and then turn off the compressor, and when it goes up to 60 degrees, I want it to turn the compressor back on. So I'm going to attempt to wire that up now, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, if this shuts off at 10 degrees, then that means the system is working. There goes nothing. There it is. Perfect. It worked. All right, I've been gone for a full hour and the water is a perfect 50 degrees. So that means the electronics are working. We can move to phase 2, which is cooling the water below freezing. To do this, I'm just gonna go get some rubbing alcohol because it's the only thing locally I can use to do that. Once we get it down to around 0 degrees, we'll run some fluid through copper in that water and see if that even cools it quick enough to dispense shots of whiskey at around freezing point.
Planner for today? Yep. We need some stuff or something?
Yeah, it's for a science experiment.
Okay.
-3. Let's see what happens. I don't know. All right, well, with some crude cardboard insulation, the best I can get it to is 6 degrees Celsius, which is about 40-something degrees Fahrenheit, which is not below freezing, but I think it has to do with this volume of water not being insulated. It's good enough to move forward, I think, as a proof of concept. Well, it looks like a pile of scrap metal at the end of today, but I actually do have hope for this project. I think it's going to work. I just think I need a better container with less fluid and more insulation, and that'll be a much more efficient system. I still have a few unknowns, which is what is the thermoconductor that I'm going to use? It's not going to be water. I don't think it's going to be rubbing alcohol. I think it's going to be propylene glycol. That's a food-safe antifreeze. My second unknown is if I seal it in an airtight container, can mold or corrosion grow inside of that container? Or if I seal it up and vacuum out all the air, will it stay forever sealed inside of there without any troubles? Third, my compressor is collecting moisture and dripping on the bench here. And is that going to happen in an air-conditioned environment, or can I insulate the return lines? And last, I don't know what to do with the design. Should I make it like a 50s era vending machine like I saw in the initial picture? Or should I do like a steampunk thing where you can kind of see some of the inner workings of it and see the copper coils and little glass window to see the compressor and that sort of thing? So let me know what you guys think, and if you have any answers to those questions, I'm going to be researching a lot tonight. Any information would be helpful. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.